Hello everyone and welcome to The Wrap with Kate McCarthy. I'm Sarah Olle. Kate, round two, she's in the books and it was a big one. Some massive blowouts but also some tight contests across the weekend.
Yeah, there have been some massive results. We've seen some big scores on the board. If we have a look at the results from round two, and Sarah, I think we've started to see the separation between the teams that are genuinely in this and can push all the way through to finals and the ones that are just struggling to find their best form at the moment.
Let's get to a team that did find their form late in the game, and I'm talking about Adelaide against Geelong, because we had concerns, Kate, with the Crows coming into this game given the shock loss to St Kilda last week. But in that final term, 7 unanswered goals.
Yeah, their big players really stood up in the fourth quarter. They'd only kicked 3 goals from Q1 to Q3, the Adelaide Crows, 7 coming home. This one here from Keely Custerman, a beautiful finish, tight up on the boundary. Eloise Jones kicked 2 in the fourth quarter alone. Chelsea Randall, 2 in the fourth as well to go with her 3 goals in total for the game. Caitlin Gould as well. But Ebony Marinoff, she ended up with 31 disposals in total, but 13 of those came in the fourth quarter itself.
And Chelsea Randall, I mean, such a welcome inclusion. Last week she was at her brother's wedding. I think she was even the celebrant, actually. So she can do it all, Chelsea. But they look so much better, don't they, Matthew Clark's side, when she's playing?
Yeah, they do. And I think post-game last week he said that she wasn't the difference and wouldn't have made that much difference. But looking at her impact, just being able to bring her teammates into the game, hit the scoreboard herself, she's clearly someone that you want out there as much as possible if you're an Adelaide Crows player or supporter.
The Cats go 0-2 and next week they host the Swans at GMHBA Stadium. Are you concerned?
I think they've been able to play 3 good quarters in both of their games. Obviously, they defended really hard. They were ahead for a lot of the game this afternoon, but that one quarter in both against North Melbourne and against Adelaide this afternoon has really let them down. So their inability to play 4 quarters, and against the good teams, it's going to cost you, and that's what they've probably learnt over the past 2 weeks. Not overly concerned, but they will have their hands full with a very attacking Sydney side.
Speaking of attacking sides, North Melbourne, the reigning premiers, were just that at Arden Street today. They steamrolled Port Adelaide to the tune of 72 points. Kate, you were there. You had a front row seat to this. It was very impressive.
It was really impressive. Their ability to transition from end to end really stood out. They were plus 74 in uncontested possession, so their spread from clearance and transition was really evident. Amy Gavin Mangan, as we just saw there, giving the handball off. She joined the illustrious first kick, first goal club as well.
And first bounce, I reckon?
Yeah, first bounce as well. That was her first disposal in footy, was a bounce or a first involvement. 13 of their 11 goals came from transition, and it was pretty clinical at Arden Street.
Let's take a look at this injury to ruck Kim Rennie. Darren Crocker, the coach, played down the extent of the injury during the match. What did you think, Kate, seeing it live?
Yeah, my concerns were, to start with, it was the takeoff from the jump. If we see there, they're saying it was a little roll, so hopefully it is that. Initially, my thoughts went to Achilles when she started to jump from that foot. But if they're saying it was an ankle roll, I think she'll get out of jail a little bit compared to that Achilles injury. They do have Emma King listed as just the 1 week on the injury list at the moment. So that would be a blessing if they were able to get her back if Kim Rennie is to miss any football.
No surprises where we're going for our player of the round. It's Jazz Garner, one of the best in the competition. She was on fire today at Arden Street. Kate, as you can see, 6 goals, 31 disposals. She's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, she certainly is. Kicked the first 2 goals of the game, so she caught fire early, Sarah. 31 disposals. She had 14 score involvements, 560 metres game, but she did it all. She rolled up the sleeves, laid the tackles. Her previous best in a game for goals was 3, eclipsed that quite comfortably with the 6 today, but her work rate was the thing that was genuinely on display from end to end, getting back, getting forward, and then her class in front of goal as well. Spent a little bit of the time as a forward as well, playing that mid-forward role. She is very hard to stop when she's in front of the footy and 1 out.
I got a question for you though, my friend. Who gets the 3 votes? Because Ash Riddell had 43 disposals, equaling the game's record high. We know that she takes votes off Jazzy when it comes to the best and fairest night?
Well, my question to that question is, am I giving the votes or are the umpires, Sarah?
Oh, I'd like it if you gave them. You might give 3 to Jazz, but who do you think will get them?
Jazz has got to get the 3 from that game. Her scoreboard impact, her impact early, taking nothing away from Ash Riddell, as you said, 43 disposals, 19 of those contested. But in my mind, she gets the 2, Jazz gets the 3.
So that was a blowout. It was a bit more of an arm wrestle, though, at Windy Hill between Essendon and West Coast. And this one really came down to the frantic, frenetic final seconds, Kate.
Yeah, it was, everything was on the line and it was end-to-end stuff. West Coast got out to a 1-point advantage with a couple of minutes to go, and then Sophie Alexander slots that one to get the win for Essendon. But they were dominant from clearance. They were plus 17 in clearance in this game. Couldn't quite convert it to the score on the board, kicking 4-7 to 4-2. Bonnie Toogood was good, kicked a couple of goals. Georgia Nanscorn went to Ella Roberts to start the game. I don't think that lasted a whole lot of time. They were able to move Ella Roberts forward, and obviously she's so good one-on-one ahead of the ball, but probably got to give the win to Georgia Nanscorn, 25 disposals, and force that change from Daisy Pearce to move Ella Roberts forward.
And they're 2-0 in the Bombers, and I'll put my hand up and say I didn't have that on my bingo card, particularly looking at the pre-season form, but it's a nice start, isn't it?
No, I'm with you, and taking nothing away from them. I think 2-0 is a great start, especially beating West Coast. I think they're going to be someone that is going to be a very difficult team to beat with their young and up-and-comers, but their experience really rose to the top. Essendon, and credit to them, 2-0 now.
Speaking of surprises, I should say, and this was a surprise at Icon Park because Richmond went in against Western Bulldogs as much vaunted favourites. But in the end, the Dogs, they ran over the top, and it's raised some questions for the Tigers, which we'll get to in a second, Kate. But it was very dominant from this young side.
It certainly was. And some of the stats that really, highlighted this dominance was their ability to crack in and lay pressure, lay tackles, plus 24, plus 16 contested possessions up against a midfield from Richmond who are usually very proud in that area of the ground. They spread a lot better, plus 30 uncontested possessions, plus 27 marks, and plus 15 inside 50s to get the win. Tam Hyatt said post-match they wanted to focus on their tackles and their pressure. That's exactly what they did, and that's how they got this game on their terms.
That's the Dog side of the equation. Let's get to the Tigers now and their coach, Ryan Ferguson, post-match.
We did look like a team that just was low on confidence. That's what it looked like. But the fact is, we've got what we need. We've got the weapons that we need. We've got the game that we need, and we just need to take accountability for ourselves and for our team. And go, hey, we're in this together, and we can turn it around really quickly. But we just got to make sure that we do that and we commit to that.
Very forthright there from Ryan Ferguson. And I've got to say, I agree with everything he has to say because they do have some serious weapons across every line in that team, but they find themselves at 0-2, and I'm a little concerned that maybe they find themselves in a bit of no man's land, Kate.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sarah. I am a little bit concerned for Richmond. Their ability to move the ball is been lackluster this season. In this afternoon's game alone, they just couldn't move the ball out of their back half. So 1 inside 50 from 54 defensive chains this afternoon. They had 0 marks inside 50. We know the marking prowess they have in front of the ball. So for me, it just looks like a bit of a breakdown across all 3 lines. We talk about the stars that they do have across all 3 lines, but if you're not all on the same page, really does make it hard to move the ball throughout the field and then also connect inside forward 50. They don't really want for anything, the Richmond Tigers, if you look at their list and list on paper.
And some of those names, Ellie McKenzie, Mon Conti, forward of the ball you just mentioned, they've got Katie Brennan, as well as Greiser, who's a massive marking target.
Even last week, they had to move Beck Miller forward to try and find a different avenue to goal. She kicks 2 goals, but they need Beck Miller in the back line. So I think they're seeing that there are a little bit of, issues with getting on the same page with the way that they want to move the ball with their game plan. And I'm happy that Ryan Ferguson sort of, highlighted that and said we were playing like we were low on confidence, but we shouldn't be. We have stars. We have what we need. We need to make it work.
The kids were all right last week, and they were again in round 2. It's time now for new kids on the block.
Well, let's start with the game we are currently talking about. And Emma McDonald, a fantastic contested mark. 7 disposals, 3 marks and a goal. Had a really nice hand in a Lou Stevenson goal as well. Then we go to Dalgleish for the West Coast Eagles. 2 goals, a clean set of heels as well to go with her. 10 disposals. Very quick. And Elaine Grigg, I know she had the season last year. She might be new on some people's radar. She's absolutely not on mine. She is a tackling machine. 6 tackles, a goal, 12 disposals. I love watching Elaine Grigg play her football. I love everything that she does on the field. She is an absolute firecracker, and I could not love the player more.
She went for the dab as well, the celebration. Did you ever bring that one out?
Absolutely not. I'm a little bit old. The dab was not quite rolled out when I was playing my football, Sarah.
Let's get to Fremantle and Brisbane, because Craig Starcevich's side were champing at the bit after their first round loss to Hawthorn. They had a point to prove against the Dockers, and didn't they do it? And then some. It brings us to Educate.
Yes, well, I want to highlight their end-to-end transition for the Brisbane Lions, starting with their defensive marks. So their intercept marking ability was what helped them to win this game. They had 20 intercept marks, and their scores from intercept were 11 goals to. So the likes of Grider, Conan, Hickey going behind the ball, their ability to impact, just to know when it's time to peel off your opponent, float back and take a grab, which leads me to their ability to then transition from end to end. And yes, this is concerning from a Fremantle perspective, which we'll get to in a minute, but Brisbane are at their absolute dominant best when they are able to get the ball out in space to transition, kick, handball, however they want to do it. But if they are out in space, they are a team that is very hard to stop. 20% they went from their D50 to scoring. The average across round 1 of the AFLW was 9%. So huge tick for the Lions. Huge concerns, though, for Freo, Sarah. Their inability to defend that transition. I was really big on them in the preseason. I thought they were going to be contenders this year. They're going to have to learn quickly how they can get that transition right, because if they allow Brisbane to go at 20% D50 to score, well, they've got North Melbourne next week, who scored 11 of their 13 goals from that source. So concerns for me, they have to learn quickly, because if they can't stop North Melbourne from transitioning, they are in trouble.
I mean, how much can you change in a week? Is it a simple fix? Because, I mean, looking at some of those clips there, it did almost look like a training drill for Brisbane, who were very good.
It did at times, but I think if you're able to... Lisa Webber's a very good coach, the Fremantle coach. She will look at that. A lot of the behind the goals vision will be pretty damning for some of their players, but you hope that they're able to turn it around quickly, because it was that area of the ground Brisbane really got a hold of them.
And speaking of getting a hold of the team, the Swans did just that against the Gold Coast Suns. It was all about their co-captain, Chloe Molloy. She kicked 7 goals, equaling Brooke Laughlin's record, who's actually the forwards coach at the Swans. So some nice symmetry there. Kate, I'm just wondering, how far can this player and how far can this team, coached by Scott Gowans, go this year?
Oh, the sky's the limit for both. The sky's the limit for Chloe Molloy. 5 goals in the first half alone. We were having a chat earlier. 21 goals was the leading goal kicker last year for the entire competition. Chloe Molloy's kicked 11 in 2 games. I think that record might be eclipsed this year, or the leading goal kicker might need to kick a few more than 21 to take it off Chloe Molloy. But at the moment, she's sitting atop of the leading goal kicker tally. For me, she's sitting atop of the league best and fairest, equal top, because she's got 3s in both for me, in both of their games this season. But Sydney Swans, for me, they are the most exciting team to watch in the competition.
Because of that ball movement?
Yeah, their ball movement. They just throw all chips in. Scott Gowans has been very bullish on their want to play finals. Well, if they continue to play brave and bold ball movement like they've been doing in the first 2 rounds, they are going to be box office. If there's a game that you're going to pencil in each week, it has to be the Sydney Swans, because their ability to score, their ability to just back themselves in and go end-to-end. They have genuine stars all across the field. Poor old Zippy Fish hardly got a mention this week, but she had another phenomenal game, as did Montana Ham. But, yeah, box office, the Sydney Swans.
On Saturday night in Frankston, it was a cold night, but the biggest talking point out of Hawthorn's win over Carlton was the plethora of holding the ball free kicks. 21 were awarded in the end. Let's hear from Hawks coach Dan Webster post-match.
I don't like it when the ball carrier's not getting rewarded. When the tackler's now getting rewarded, I really don't like that. And some of those decisions today were way too hot. I think what we're asking the players to do in that sense is, like, we're better off not trying to win the ball sometimes now, just tap it on. And I don't think that's the way the game should be played. Like, there is a contest a part of the game, and I understand they're trying to get the ball moving, but at the moment I think it's gone a little bit too far one way, and I'd like to see it pulled back a little bit.
What would you like to see, Kate? Not mincing his words there, the Hawthorn coach.
Could not agree with Daniel Webster any more than his sentiments there. We want to encourage players to take possession of the ball to win the footy. That is part of Australian Roos football, is winning the footy and winning it at the source. Let's take a look at some of the decisions that rolled out, and I think we'll just see how much the tackler is being rewarded here. The ability to pick up the footy, then to just be taken to ground and be given a free kick straight away. I mean, some of these, yes, are holding the ball. Some of them are very dubious. We don't want to be allowing or encouraging players to not take possession of the footy and I think rewarding the players that's second to the ball. I mean, it'd be great for a player like me, Sarah, who could never win their own footy but had to lay the tackle, but that's not what we want. And this last one here on Emily Bates, she had 6 free kicks against in this game for holding the ball. I would argue that 5 of those were not there to be awarded. She is a player that would most likely win all of her own football. If she is getting done holding the ball 6 times, that means we are rewarding the tackler, not the player that is earning the footy. So, yeah, the average after round 1 was 8 holding the balls against per team per game. So 16 for the game. 21-22 is well overs.
At Casey Fields, Melbourne certainly flexed their muscles against St Kilda, recording a 74-point win. It's hard to believe that this team, coached by Mick Stenier, Kate, didn't play finals last year. I tell you what, baby, they're back.
The lid is off. You've got to rip the lid off at Melbourne because this is exciting football. It's the mids, it's the forwards, it's the defenders. Taylor Harris up and firing, 4 goals again. Tyler Hanks, 28 disposals, 12 tackles. Kate Hoare, another 26 with 5 clearances and a goal, and that sort of vision as well. We're just seeing it all over the ground. Paxi Paxman playing a beautiful role in the wing for them as well, pushing forward. They're only +2 at clearance, but it was the damaged post clearance which got them the efficiency and the ability to have 42 inside 50s to 18. Demons fans, get excited because I think top 4 is absolutely on the radar this season for them. I know it's a small sample size, but what I've seen so far, they are dominant. They are able to move the ball at will and they are looking the goods.
There was one sour note, however, to this win, and it's an injury to Olivia Purcell, who's one of their star midfielders. I didn't like this mechanism, Kate. I didn't like the way she went down, and I especially don't like it because Liv Purcell has done an ACL before. She also had those facial fractures last year. She can't really take a trick.
No, she can't. It's awful to see, awful to, I guess, considering her history as well and what she went through last year with such a horrific injury with those facial fractures as well. And we were really starting to see the best of Liv Purcell the last couple of games. She had 19 disposals in the game. She still only played a half, Sarah, before going off with that injury. So we cross our fingers. We hope it's not the dreaded ACL, but it would be a big loss for Melbourne, but just a big loss for Liv Purcell.
And that sentiment was shared by her coach, Mick Stenier.
Yeah, Liv's been in brilliant form. We missed her in the second half, but I thought the group did well to keep playing the way they did. Megan Fitzsimon came through and Eliza McNamara came in the midfield. And then we'll hopefully scans tomorrow morning to get an understanding of Liv's knee. But at the moment, just a bit sore, and we'll just hope for the best that it's nothing that's going to keep her out for too long.
Head to afl.com.au and the AFL Live app for the latest updates when it comes to Olivia Purcell and that knee, as Kate was saying. Fingers, toes, everything crossed for the gun Melbourne midfielder. Let's get to Collingwood and GWS, though, because it was a day to celebrate for the Pies. As you can see, their first win, Kate, in 320 days, a long time between drinks.
And they had to dig in to do it. It was a hard-fought victory. Sarah Rowe back after surgery just 16 days earlier, playing a hand in the victory as well. Absolutely. And their ability to just go back and at times of need to control the footy, kick the match winner, and then we couldn't have a Collingwood game without an Ash Centra highlight. That's an important smother late in the game. So they broke the drought, their first win in almost a year, and they were deserving. GWS made them earn it, but deserving winners, the Collingwood Magpies.
What about all the claret on Captain Ruby Schleicher's face as well?
Claret everywhere at the end of that game. It was just a hard-fought win. There were some big contests from both sides, and, really had to dig in.
Love your work. That has been another episode of The Wrap with Kate McCarthy. We'll see you again next week.